Welcome to Compassion Speaks. I'm your host, Lynn Lewis. This is one of the best programs on the mountain as far as I'm concerned, because we get to give the nonprofits a voice and show you what we have out there, what's going on, the many needs that they may need, and the businesses that help them as well. Today, I want to welcome Dalton and Kurtis. And gentlemen, who are you guys with?
Yeah, we're with Arizona's Children Association. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, welcome. Dalton, tell us a little bit about where you started, where it began, year, time frame, and what you guys do.
Yeah, so our agency started back in 1912, originated as an orphanage down in Tucson. It was started by a women's group at a church down in Tucson who realized that there wasn't infrastructure in place in our state to take care of at-risk youth. And so back in 1912, before that agency was started, youth were sent to California to be taken care of if their needs weren't able to be met here in the state. And so over the course of the last 100 years, our agency's kind of grown to become one of the oldest and largest child welfare and behavioral health nonprofits in the state of Arizona.
Yes, 1912. That's impressive. That's the same year that Arizona has its birthday,
Yes.
So it's a great. So with some of those children that you see come into your organization, what does that look like? Have they recently been orphaned? Are they moving into the foster care? Have they been there? What does that kind of look at? And who is it that you help?
Yeah.
Male, female, both?
Yeah, definitely. So there are over 14,000 youth in the state of Arizona that are in foster care of all ages. And so specifically with the program that I work in, we work with our teens and young adults. And so for our youth that are over the ages of 16 to 21 is kind of the age range that we're working with. Makes up about 2,000 of total youth population that are in that age range. And so they face that reality of aging out of the foster care system and kind of transitioning into adulthood on their own. And so we have a mentor program that we work with these youth to try to set them up for success in their future. So that way their transition into adulthood is a much smoother process.
That's fantastic. I think that even for those children that are at home, that's probably a process most of us are working on getting ready, but in that situation of being in foster care, that's huge.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the times, some youth choose to age out at the age of 18, but can continue to receive services up until the age of 21 in most circumstances. But at the end of the day, like when you're 18 or 21, you don't necessarily have life figured out. And so you're going to need supports in your life. And it can be really harsh for some of our youth that grow up in the system and age out, and they're used to getting services, and all of those supports and programs that they participated in come to an end, and they no longer have people in their life that are going to be able to help them along the way.
Oh, that's a big, heavy weight right there, but it's awesome to have organizations like yours so that we can get to those youth and set them up for success, as you said.
Definitely, yeah.
Kurtis, you are doing an amazing thing with this group right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm a student at Arizona Christian University, and I had to do an internship. And when I learned about Arizona's Children a couple years ago, and I'm in family studies program, so when I just found that they do a great job, an amazing thing with kids and stuff like this, and adoption and foster care. And then when I met Dalton and the whole team, they're doing the mentor program, working with foster youth aging out and building a relationship with the older adults, that's a pretty awesome thing. Mm-hmm. So I really was excited to get involved and help these youth, with the relationship aspect of life. Right.
So about that mentorship, you are in need of having some mentors in this area, correct?
We are. We're statewide. We're a statewide agency, and we have youth all over the state, from here to Tucson to Phoenix, Bullhead City, and everything in between. And what we're looking for is our mentees, our foster youth, come out of our programs, and we need adult volunteer mentors to get involved in.
Right. To show them how to do this thing called life, right, that we all start out at, what is going on?
Mm-hmm. We have some youth in Sholo, Snowflake, some in Winslow, Flagstaff, Prescott, and all.
Do you have any idea on the numbers that are needed in this area specific?
I don't know the exact numbers. We have a few in Sholo. We have some in Snowflake. We have a lot down in Payson, and then they're just scattered out all throughout the state.
Wow. So such a need, and this is a great time, especially with so many still kind of on being laid off with COVID and whatnot. Are there any kind of things that they need to be aware of as far as COVID? Anything that you would need them to do in order to be a mentor? Is there any kind of testing? What does that look like? What does it look like on a mentorship?
Yeah, so we definitely encourage all of our volunteers and our youth to be safe and be healthy, right? We want them to practice social distancing, wear masks and things like that are placed, mandated rules in place by the state. So we want to make sure that everyone is healthy and safe, but there's really no testing involved. We encourage our mentors, if they want to get tested, we actually provide documentation to say that they are eligible to get an early vaccine. And so if they want to get vaccinated, they can. We've made that eligible for them, which is a really great option if, our mentors choose to take that to maybe make themselves feel a little bit safer. But there are no, real rules in place of saying like, hey, you can't meet in person. That's really the goal and the drive for our program is we want our mentors to meet in person with their youth and spend time out in the community and enjoy experiences and enjoy life together. And so COVID throws a wrench into that plan some of the time, but we don't want that to be a hindrance at all.
Right. That's great. So in retrospect to Girls and Boys Club, what does this look like as far as your program? What differentiates it from that program versus yours?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the biggest thing is the age group, right? We're specifically working with older teens and young adults, and the focus is to create a lifelong connection with them and be a support for them and help them really become successful in their future. And so some of the other differences, it's a volunteer-based program, right, for our mentors, but it's also voluntary for our youth as well. They're not being forced into this. So maybe in some other agencies and organizations, you might see parents put their kids into a program and say, hey, you're going to have a big brother or big sister, or you're going to have a mentor. This is different within our program where we have our young adults coming to us and say, hey, I realize that I could use some healthy adult relationships in my life. I could use some additional supports in my life, and I'm interested in a mentor. How can I make that happen? And so on both ends, it's this really great give and take relationship where we have volunteer mentors coming in, but we also have youth that are volunteering their time as well. So hopefully we're getting that match of energy where they're putting in the same effort into the relationship as our mentors do.
That's great. So mentorship is the main focus that we're looking at today, but there's actually 18 programs within your organization that help in other ways. Could you maybe touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, and so a lot of times, the first thing that comes to mind with foster care and the child welfare system is, okay, maybe how do I get involved with fostering or adopting? And so we have services in place where if you're interested in becoming a foster parent or an adoptive parent, you can do that as well. We have behavioral health, so we're working with young people in that area, and we're helping treat mental illness and things like that. And so whether it's kinship services and getting people reunited with their families, that's a huge goal. And our young adult services is kind of the umbrella that our mentor program falls under. And so that's working with youth to give them the skills and tools that they need to become more successful and self-sufficient in their life. We want to help them become mature and independent adults, so that way they're not facing some of the harsh realities that youth that grow up in foster care face. And so if you look at the statistics, there is an alarming rate of increases of dropout rates, homelessness, drug addiction, early unwanted pregnancies. These are all types of things that are inflicting our youth, and we want to make a difference in their lives. And so the only way it's going to be able to change is if we step in and we get involved. And so there's a lot of different ways to get involved in your community other than just volunteering your time. So if you're interested in learning more ways of how you can get involved and make a difference, check out our website. You can visit us online. Our website is arizonaschildren.org. There's a ton of information on all of the programs and services that we offer in all of the counties. As Kurtis was saying earlier, we're located in all 15 counties throughout the state, and so there are services in place in your community. So if you want to get involved, check us out on our website. There's opportunities for you.
I love that. I so love that, because I know just with COVID, we'll bring that back up. My son was out of school for quite a long time, so you have that kind of lifestyle where they're dealing with just that on a normal living scale of, they've been without friends, they've been without teachers, any kind of being in a social gathering situation, to now they're being put back into schools in most areas. So in a foster situation, they're not only dealing with that they go with on being in the foster situation, but also the time that they missed from school. So there's been a whole nother element taken from their life that they may have possibly normally had.
Yeah, definitely. And you hit on a huge part. Most of our youth that grow up in the state and in more of the major cities, group home settings typically tend to be the #1 living situation for a lot of our youth. So they're growing up in group homes with 5 to 10, different kids of different ages growing up in a house. And when COVID really shut the world down, kids were no longer able to go to school like you're talking about. They weren't able to see their friends anymore. They weren't able to get out of their house and their situations to see their teachers or their role models and the people that made a difference in their life. And so that's why, mentoring and getting involved and building a one-on-one relationship with someone is so important, especially in a time like this, because these youth are missing out on opportunities to get out of their house, get out of their environment and enjoy their life and get new experiences. And so we want to be able to offer that for them.
Absolutely. Well, Kurtis, Dalton, I'm going to end it with that, but your organization is something to be proud of, and I'm happy that it's in Arizona and that it was founded here. I think that it's going to do great things, and I can't imagine these children's without that. So if people want to volunteer to be a mentor or any other aspects of the program, we will have that website available at the end of the program.
Yeah, awesome.
So thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you came all the way from Tucson.
I came from Phoenix. I work out of our Phoenix office
today to be here today. So thank you. And then Kurtis is here locally. I thank you both.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Compassion Speaks. I'm your host, Lynn Lewis, and joining me now is Molly with the Mama program.
Hi.
Welcome, Molly. I'm so glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So, with the Mama program, obviously there's some mamas involved.
Yes.
Okay.
So, the Mama program stands for Mothers in Arizona Moving Ahead, and we're here on the mountain to start helping single moms and their children.
Wow, that is really cool. I did not know that. Okay, so what does that look like?
So how our program works is we're modeling it after a program that was created about 3 years ago in Tucson, also called the Mama program. And what it is we try to take these moms from poverty to prosperity by putting them in a year-long mentorship program.
That is really cool. So any age is welcome.
Any age is welcome. You just have to be a mom who wants a better life for her and her children.
Wow, so that's really cool. So with that, I'm going to be honest, Molly, when you called, I thought that this was possibly like a mom's play group or something like that. So this is actually getting them ready for the next phase of their life successfully.
So how it works is they actually take 17 weeks worth of classes called Getting Ahead. And then after that, they start a mentorship program with 2 mentors per one mom and her kids for the rest of the year.
Okay. Yeah. And so when they're doing those kind of mentorships, is that for jobs? Is that for doing their resumes? What does this look like? Explain it. Lay it out, because I want to know.
Yeah. So actually, the 17 weeks of classes, we're going to do a curriculum called Getting Ahead, and it goes along with what's called Bridges Out of Poverty. And those teach moms how they got to where they are, whether it's situational or generational poverty, and then how to give themselves a hand up and get out of poverty. Helps them make better financial and health decisions for them and their kids.
Is there a place that specifically you hold these type of meetings and classes?
There is. So we're right now housed out of the Re-Center up in Pine Top. And our classes are going to be one night a week, and we're providing free dinner, free childcare, and free transportation for the moms. There's an application process that we have the moms do, and then an interview process. And then they start working with me one-on-one, kind of like as a caseworker. But then after they graduate the program, they start working with the mentors.
That's great.
Yeah.
So they get a free meal, education, time to get to know other single moms in the community, and just kind of collaborate and have that fellowship together.
Yes.
Perfect. When did you guys get started up here?
So we tried starting about 1.5 years ago on the mountain. We were going through a grant process, but once COVID-19 hit, we lost our grant funding. But this last year, the church came through for us and used their annual Christmas gift donations to fund the first year of our program.
Perfect.
So we get started in April.
Okay, awesome. So April is this month.
April's this month.
You get to begin. And do you have a waiting list? Is there? You said there's an application process.
There is. There's an application process. I receive the applications, then we call each of the moms and we have an interview with them. We kind of find out where they're currently at in their life and then what goals they want to set for themselves in the future. Whether that looks at like getting a job, getting their GED, starting college, maybe better employment, and then we work with those moms on an action plan basis, and then we help them reach those goals by partnering with other resources in our community.
Okay. Is there a maximum fill point, or is the more the merrier?
Well, right now, for our first year, we're funded for 10 moms, but any moms that we receive over those 10 moms, I'm going to work with them on a one-on-one case basis. So then that way, we're still helping them and they're still getting the same help. We're just not taking all that feedback in from those moms specifically.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So if you are a single mom, now is the time to get over there.
Yes.
Get this information started so that you can get accepted into this program. This sounds amazing.
Yeah, we're excited.
And you said that you are planning on partnering possibly with the hospital.
Yeah, so Summit Healthcare actually reached out to Pam Williams, who's the director at the Recenter, and what they're working on is a partnership with the Mama program, where if any of the moms are interested in doing any type of medical field training, they're going to pay for the mom's training to become CNAs. Then they're going to hire them after they graduate from the CNA training. So they're going to pay them through the time that they train for it, and then they're going to offer them employment afterwards.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's one of those positions that you can definitely grow on.
Exactly. They could do continuing education and they could go into other medical fields, but it gives them a start, which is what some of these moms need.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
So how long does this, you said it's 17 weeks. Then after that, do you start with a whole nother group of 10 women? How does that look?
So what it happens is they take 17 weeks of courses, and then the moms have a huge graduation because they graduated their classes. Then they actually do the mentorship program, which we call the Circles of Care, and they do that through the end of the year. So the total program is going to run from April until December. And then next year, if we continue with our funding, then we want to continue this program, and we're actually looking to expand sometime in the future to do a pop-up program as well.
Oh, that would be fantastic as well, because
Yeah.
there are single dads out there too.
There are single dads, and we've had a huge kind of like inpouring of information about single dads that are really interested in a program like this, because there aren't a lot of resources out there for them. But we want to know that the Recenter up in Pine Top has resources for those single dads until we can start a program for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Is there any kind of fundraising or anything that you guys do or need?
We're thinking about fundraising right now for the next, because we want to at least get 3 years, but we're also still working on grants. So we know that our community holds like a lot of banquets and things like that to do fundraising, and we're looking at that in the future.
Perfect.
Yep.
I know with any kind of fundraising and nonprofits, you have to be creative.
Yes. Yes, you should know. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be creative, because if there's one thing is there are a lot of banquets, there's a lot of things. So it does take time to put something together.
Yeah.
So not having anything in place right now, that's something to move towards.
We're also looking, we've kind of got the cost down to funding a mom. So we're looking at like a scholarship program. So if there's independent donors out there that are saying, I just want to fund like one mom, then we're going to look at doing a scholarship so they can fund an individual mom and her kids throughout the year.
Let's talk about some of the history of this actual program, like where it started, who founded it, and whatnot.
Okay, so who started the program was Bonnie Bizzata, and she's a Bridges Out of Poverty certified trainer, and she was realizing in our communities that there's a lot of services that are available to people who are living in poverty, but there's also a lot of barriers that it's hard for these single moms and their kids to get through when they're trying to get these resources, such as access to transportation, affordable housing, minimum wage jobs, a living wage job. And so Bonnie decided to create this program using the Getting Ahead curriculum to not give a hand out to these moms, but to give them a hand up and to help them climb out of poverty and become prosperous. So she started the program back in 2017, and each year they've added the number of graduates of these moms. And they've had some moms that have started their own businesses and become successful businesswomen. They've had moms who have gone back to college and are earning their degrees. They've helped these moms buy houses. They've helped them get better employment. So it's amazing to see what they can do with that program in Tucson, and we need that here in Navajo County.
We desperately need that. I know in our community alone, there is a struggle just to find housing.
Yeah.
And so what do you do as a single mom that has just, either your lease is up and you have to find somewhere else? I know I have a situation that we're dealing with, something very similar to that.
Yeah.
Single mom, nowhere to go.
Yeah.
The lease is ending and kind of in a minimum wage job, which is not terrible these days.
Yeah.
But you did mention there's a difference between minimum and living wage. And
yeah, for our county, it's really upside down, our minimum wage and our living wage. And I know from firsthand experience, being a single mom and living in Navajo County, how hard it is if you don't have transportation, you don't have an affordable place to live. And I was even making over minimum wage, and I was still struggling. So getting these moms help and getting them the resources that they need to help them become successful is our main goal.
so this isn't just a program for you, it's also a passion because you've experienced this.
Oh yeah, I've been a single mom in Navajo County, and currently from, I believe it was the 2019 Navajo County Health Assessment, we have almost 7,000 single moms that are living in poverty in Navajo County alone.
Wow.
So they need our help.
Yeah, there's a big number there, and 10 is just a small number, but it's
Yes.
actually a very big number in the grand scheme.
It's the start, and we want to expand it each year that we're doing this program.
Perfect.
Yep.
Molly, thank you so much for being on here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, we appreciate it. Again, the name of your program?
The Mama Program.
We were excited to have you.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming in. And I just want to touch a little bit on Love Kitchen. Here we are in April. We are a month away from the car show, and that is Hogs and Hot Rods, which will be happening May 29th. It is a Saturday. There will be COVID safety things in place, but we got some exciting things that happened over the weekend, and we now have an Alice Cooper autographed guitar. So we will have those tickets starting very soon. Just either go on to the Love Kitchen Facebook page or the Hogs and Hot Rods Facebook page, and we can get you that information there. I want to thank all my guests who were on today. They have amazing passions that they stand behind, and we thank you for joining us on Compassion Speaks. Until next time, I'm your host, Lynn Lewis. Thanks for joining us.